Hey, greetings. Good afternoon. This is Skylar Gigabytes. It's just a quick video, man. I wanted to basically share a vision for this company. I want to get people engaged in the company. I want them to understand the power and the might of this company. Fastidio Lab is a production company. What this means for you, listen, in today's new world, is everybody's a brand. Everybody needs to become a production company. There is no more rule book. The standards, the old way of doing things are out the door. Anything pretty much goes. The name of the game is now be able to bring your own ideas into fruition. And so if we start to think like a production company for just a moment, we can figure out how to do this, how that would happen, how the production process would happen. At the end of the day, what we want to do on our side is help you bring products to market. You know, this is a bag of beans, but it's just a product. It's a commodity. And that's exactly the point, is that today we've all become commodities. And so in order to what you got to look at the way of the commodity. Just look at, you know, how does Trader Joe's differentiate itself from a Safeway or a Whole Foods? You know, they put their branding on everything, but it's still a commodity they get from a manufacturer. And so one of the things and lessons that I've learned, I don't know if I want to give up this jewel, but this is a jewel. One of the things that the big companies do, and I remember a guy told me, he was in real estate. When I was in real estate, he says, you know, if you want to know what to do next in your career or whatever, you know, just look what the big guys are doing. Look what the Kaufman Broads are doing. Look at where the Alex Spanoses are doing. See where they're taking this thing. That's if you don't know how to do your own homework, your own research, or maybe you just don't understand the full dynamics, the scope. Just look at the big guys, because they typically have more manpower to figure out all the details and the intricacies. And so I've done that. I read a book called The End of Marketing as We Know It. And it was talking about Coca-Cola and their transition into this new economy, how they had to learn the hard way and had to spend millions upon millions of dollars to learn the hard way. And let me tell you what the conclusion is. After all these years, they figured out that they can't beat the competition, so they may as well join them. The way they've done that is they've done it by distributing the competitors. So they no longer try and buy up the competitors, because, you know, you can't keep up. There's a million people out here, and we're reverting back from the industrial age where everybody was basically put on the conveyor belt and given a job and an expectation, and we're moving back into mercantilism and back into entrepreneurialism, where everybody's got to basically get up by their own bootstraps and get out here and hustle. And what that does is that's going to mean that, you know, we've gone through this era where there's been a lot of consolidation of power, and the corporations have been buying up and picking off every single competitor that was worth any salt. And now what we're going to see is that's going in reverse. You know, so how do you join the competition? Well, we figured out how we want to join the competition, and we don't want to compete at all. We want to just basically help you bring your products to the market. As a production company, we would handle, you know, casting, etc. We want to help you leverage everything that this internet has available. There's a lot going on, and, you know, you have your focus. You know, if you're a musical artist, if you're a celebrity of some kind, if you just have some type of equity that you develop in a particular company, you know, you want to be able to leverage anything that can come out of your labors. And I'll give you a quick example. Before I want to personalize this message too, for a specific person. But let me give you this example really fast. I was looking at a Kickstarter pitch, and there was a company called Elevation Lab. They're out of Oregon. And what they've been able to do is they're making millions of dollars simply riding the coattails of Apple Computer. They're making very simple components. I mean, there's a production process in place, but it's very simple components that that solve problems or perceived problems that Apple consumers may have. They're really good at positioning Apple's products, which are, you know, streamlined, you know, very simple things of this nature, but they'll try and find some problem with it, and they'll position Apple's solution as a problem, and they'll come up with some augment. For example, you know, the iMac, right, with the stand. Some people, I guess, have to bend down or look down, so they've created like this little booster stand, and it's just all metal alloy products. And I was just looking at the business model and watching how much these people are making, and I thought, wow, they simply selected one company, Apple, and every single product they make is for Apple. They've been able to buy millions of dollars worth of tooling. What do you call those? milling machines that really grind things down. I forget what you call them, CNC machine. And they just simply wait for Apple to come out with a solution, wait for people to kind of develop a feeling about it. Then they position it. They come out with the solution. You know, they demonize it. They come out with the solution, and to the tune of millions just on Kickstarter. They're making millions just on Kickstarter. This is not even hasn't even hit the retail side yet, right? This is just Kickstarter. So Kickstarter is a very good indicator of the market, of the weight of how successful a product can be in the marketplace. If it could do well on Kickstarter and make $500,000 to $1 million, then boy oh boy. And so this is all on the heels. And I thought, wow, how come Apple is not getting a dime of that money? They're not getting a dime of it. So they could get a dime of it. If you have a company like mine, for example, FASTIDEO LAB, we could go to Apple and say, why don't you, we have an idea. We want to go ahead, we're going to position you, can do all these things that Elevation Lab is doing. This is before Elevation Lab. People have to, you can look at Elevation Lab and you can go, oh, okay, I have proof of concept. I know that it works now. But we don't have time for that type of shit no more. You have to be like ahead of the curve. You got to think big time already. So you can look, if I would have came to Apple and said, yo, I got this concept, I think it'll work, boom, 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 and sold them on this Elevation Lab concept, I said, I want you to partner with me. This would have given me the money I needed to, get loans or tool up or get everything that I needed. And then after a certain period of time that they've been out with the product, 6 months, a year, whatever, we can go ahead and knock it off, right? We can create the alternative, the non-OEM solution, and Apple could be profiting by that. Instead of, because this is the thing. When you look at what Coca-Cola had learned or discovered was that their market share before, this was like in the days when they bought Snapple out, like around that time, they noticed that these other companies were eating up market share. They were eating market share. And so Coke was like, yo, we got to stop the bleeding, the hemorrhaging, right? So then they started to buy up these companies so they could keep the shelf space, that real estate. They wanted to keep the majority. They wanted to dominate it. But then that stopped working. There was new channels. There was new, the metrics that they were using to try and gauge and control people mentally. That shit was breaking down. And as we can see today, this is before we had like internet, right? But as we can see today, that's completely, they've lost that. I mean, like people, you can't control them. They're like loose cannons. And so now what they do is they just distribute the competition. So this way they're still able to keep that market share in terms of their relationship with the customer, which is the most valuable component of their business. Is like, yo, we still have the tethers with the retailer. We are the advisor, etc. So I'm just kind of bringing this back to fruition. Is that Apple could have been cannibalizing themselves. Because that's what Coca-Cola learned, is that they had to cannibalize themselves. Well, how many other companies out there are not going to cannibalize their own brand? You know what I'm saying? They're going to let somebody else come in and leverage off of the equity that they've created. Elevation Lab is leveraging the equity, the marketing equity that Apple's created. That's why they can sell these non-OEM products to the tune of millions of dollars. You see what I'm saying? And so I'm getting into the production side of things. We're taking Hollywood to the next plateau. This is a whole other dimension. And when we want to do this message, I want to go ahead at this point, and I want to bring in a special message. This is for Spitta Andretti. I've been having visions. I've been having visions and dreams like, yo, I want to create some products for this guy. Now, I've been working on my own projects, but I've also studied the art of licensing and, and making this whole thing work. And so, because I understand this dimension, I understand how to put together a compelling presentation that could get, some of the manufacturers, the makers of products, to do some collaborations with us. And we can get you your own brand of product, your own brand of product. And that's all I'm going to say at this point until we talk further. But I really got some good products that I think fit well with your marketing. You know what I'm saying? With your persona, your image, what you're trying to maintain. And maybe even, this could be a way, I could be a conduit or a producer that can help you segue into new channels and markets. You see what I'm saying? It's you know, you've been really good at that. Actually, you've been really good at going from, you know, just adding different building blocks to your repertoire. And but I think that you could capitalize on what you have going now more than you are. And so this is inspired. This is an inspired talk. I've been watching y'all videos. You might be the kind of guy that wants to do everything by yourself, or you know, I watched all the videos, so I'm getting a feeling for kind of what's going on. But I'm just gonna tell you, today's economy, man, we got to be faster. We got to be faster more than ever, and we don't have time to be like hung up. We don't have time to count pennies on our way to millions. So with that, I thank you for watching. I thank you for tuning in. I hope that I hear from you and we can do something together. All right, y'all take care. Skylar Gigabytes. Peace.